Kenneth, we just heard from Press Secretary Sean Spicy Spicer and talking about the new allegations from President Trump that President Obama colluded or obstructed with the Russians in interfering with the election.
Yes. Not only did he say he colluded or obstructed, he said he colluded or obstructed also with the Democratic Party during the Russia interference in 2016 during the election. We all know this is referring to the Washington Post report that the Obama administration was hesitant to take action against Russia during the election because they didn't want it to be seen as partisan, but there were steps that were taken to make sure that Russia either stopped or didn't do it again. But the president put it as, quote, that President Obama did nothing. And we know that's absolutely not true because obviously Russian diplomats were kicked out of the country, compounds were shut down. We know that President Obama told Putin to cut it out during the G20, during the 2016 election. So there were a number of things that were done, and the Obama administration officials, former ones, are definitely coming out fighting against this notion that nothing was done.
Does anyone in Washington take the president serious when he tweets these things out?
We do take the tweets seriously, and you probably noticed because we report on every single tweet. And that's because one moment you'll have something that we obviously trying to dissect and figure out, Twitter whisper as we call it. And then there are other times where there's something that's pretty straightforward. For instance, like I take for instance, you remember when the controversy about whether we should take them seriously or not, should we report on them? Then Kellyanne Conway said, we take the tweets too seriously. Then Sean Spicer says that they are policy and that we should take them seriously. And then right after that, the president announced his FBI director, Christopher Wray, whom he just officially nominated to the Senate just yesterday. So there's important information that comes out. And then, but when we see certain ones that we really have to go through and dissect piece by piece, phrase by phrase, for instance, initially, we thought that the president's tweet about collusion and obstruction was saying that President Obama colluded with Russia, with the way that it was worded. Well, after we really flushed it out, he was saying that President Obama colluded with the Democrats, which is why he did nothing about Russia last year. Were you with me on that?
I am absolutely with you. I mean, to the extent you can follow some of the tweets. I'd like to change just topics for a second, Ken. The White House announced that Syria may be planning another chemical weapons attack. Obviously, disturbing news.
It really is, Jay, and it's shaping up to be quite a morning here at the White House because it was a stern and public warning. It was odd that it came from Press Secretary Sean Spicer in a form of a statement with just a few lines. It didn't come from the president in a tweet. It didn't come from the president on camera. It came from Sean Spicer, not the Pentagon either, where he says that the U.S. has found potential evidence that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad was preparing to carry out a chemical weapons attack similar to that one in April that killed dozens of Syrians. And they said that Syria will, quote, pay a heavy price if they, pretty much conduct another mass murder attack using chemical weapons. We're trying to find out, what does a heavy price mean? Is there going to be more military action and strikes against Syria like we saw in April after the president said those images of children suffocating, desperate, dying on camera really impacted him? Will we see that action again? We're trying to find out today.
Any understanding of the basis for the idea that a potential attack is imminent?
None whatsoever, besides the fact that obviously there's some type of intelligence here. We don't know if it's U.S. intelligence. We don't know if it came from an ally, because we know that the United Kingdom at this point this morning is saying that Britain will stand with the U.S. because the use of chemical weapons is abhorrent, and they stood with the U.S. in April. They'll stand with them again. Russia, Syrians' key ally, has already said, look, this is unacceptable, your threats to the Assad regime. And they're also got some tough talk this morning. So things are obviously escalating here. We're just trying to find out to what point and where's this evidence coming from, because the Trump White House at this point has not given over that evidence.
Do we expect that the Trump White House will be talking about this further? Is anything planned, any announcement or press conference?
Nothing's planned, but you better believe that we are knocking on the doors this morning already trying to find out more information.
Very good. Kenneth Moton, ABC News correspondent from the White House. Thank you very much once again for your insights into the White House.